man knew the boy wasn't his biological son. He played dumb, raising the boy like his own, spoiling him, indulging his every whim, and eventually naming him the sole heir to his massive fortune. But on the day the inheritance documents were to be signed, his assistant suddenly pulled out a paternity test right there in front of everyone and announced that the boy was, in fact, his son. What no one realized was that the man already knew. He'd been quietly laying the groundwork for the perfect revenge against the wife who betrayed him and the assistant who helped her. It all began 2 decades earlier, when he accidentally overheard his wife confess that she was carrying another man's child, his assistant's. Worse still, the two of them were plotting to raise the child as his and have him take over the company one day, but they had no idea they were already dancing in the palm of his hand. Once the boy was born, the assistant made regular visits under the pretense of work, but it was clear he was there to bond with his son. Rather than stop it, the man encouraged it. He even arranged for the assistant to take his wife and the child on vacations. With his silent approval, they grew bolder, eventually flaunting their relationship in his presence. Still, he never said a word. 15 years passed. Under the man's indulgence, the boy turned into a spoiled, lazy troublemaker. He had no ambition, no discipline, just video games and parties. Meanwhile, the assistant kept showing up asking for money, claiming it was for a startup. And the man? He gave it. Every time. Because he knew there's no quicker way to destroy someone than by giving them everything they want. The boy bombed his college entrance exam so badly he didn't even get into high school. His mother scolded him, asking how he could ever take over the company like this. But the boy didn't care. And the man? He just smiled and said, "No worries. Let's send him abroad. When he comes back, he'll be ready to run the business." The assistant and wife could hardly hide their excitement. In their minds, they were almost at the finish line. 4 years later, the boy returned from overseas. The man wasted no time. He held a press conference, announcing he was passing the company to his son. But just as the paperwork was finalized, the assistant dropped the bomb, a paternity test proving the boy was biologically his. The media went wild. The wife, for the first time, looked proud. And the man? He feigned shock, like the betrayal had just hit him. People in the room recognized the assistant. He'd once been a poor scholarship student the man had taken under his wing. They were furious, calling him a snake who bit the hand that fed him. Clearly, this reunion was just a cash grab. The wife, shameless as ever, claimed she'd been trapped in a loveless marriage and was finally living for herself. The assistant doubled down, insisting that real love shouldn't be judged, and asked everyone to bless their new family. But no one bought it. It was obvious they were scheming to steal the man's fortune. People rallied behind the man, urging him to lawyer up and fight back. The man calmly quieted the room, then turned to the boy. "What do you want?" he asked. The boy responded with gratitude for the man's years of support, but added that blood ties matter more. He asked the man not to stand in the way of their family's reunion. Then, to everyone's shock, he handed the man a divorce agreement, demanding he sign it in front of the press. And as if that weren't insulting enough, the boy said, "For old time's sake, I'll give you 500 yuan a month. You know, so you won't starve."